Hello friends and fellow collectors, Flip Young here checking in to provide a bit of a detailed insight about this Marvel Legends Carnage figure. I did pre-open the box as evidenced by the absence of one of the Build-A-Figure piece here on this, as you can see in the front of the window of the box. And he came with that Ultimate Goblin Wave over here. And he came with the head, and I believe, I'm not sure, it looks like he has another space here. I cannot totally recall, but if there's another piece here, I would suspect that he came with, the flame on the back of Ultimate Goblin here. So at the back of the figure, you would see the alternative figure that, in replacement of Carnage. I see Toxin here, but I chose Carnage. For me, he's more relevant as far as my collection, because I'm more familiar with him. As a kid growing up, I never heard of Toxin until I've seen him at the back of the package, and I did my research. They call him Toxin. So pretty much that's it. And another thing, at the bottom of the box here, you would see the rest of the figures that came with this very same wave. And it came with a standard open window box here from Hasbro, and on both sides you would see artwork of Spider-Man. At the top you would see a Spider-Man logo, and at the bottom you would see like a proof of purchase or a barcode here, and a few information here like a distribution and all those stuff. Not really that important. So let's open the box since he is already open. The only reason why I place him back on the box is, for you guys to have a better picture of what he came with. But I do apologize, I can no longer place back the head of, the Build-A-Figure Ultimate Goblin here in the box. But I hope you could at least, picture out what it looks like being the head over here. If not, my apologies for that. So let's go ahead and take the figure out of its packaging here. So he came with, this, which is like one of the venomous substance which is attachable to his back. It came with a peg, and you could see a peg hole here. It's very simple. You could place it on his back and position it as, based upon your own personal preference, whichever you think looks better for your own display or for your own judgment. So as far as the painting, he came with the base paint of red. It's not shiny, there's no gloss to it, and it's like a flat red, and they did paint some consistent black, what you call that, outlines here, or what's the term for that, linings, or something like a toxin appearing kind of substance throughout his body. And of course on his forearms and on the side of his chin you would see these things being attached. It's not removable, so I would suggest, just to provide the figure a more consistent look, I would suggest, of course, placing this on his back. As far as the head, the eyes came with, that similar, almost a similar look to that of Venom's eyes, but his eyes are only bigger. It has bigger coverage throughout his head, and of course the shape is more exaggerated as compared to Venom. His jaws looks like they are articulated, but they're not. It's a two-piece head, which I believe this one was attached and glued on. As far as the jaw, the tongue, you would see like a pink paint on the tongue. It's a bit shiny here from where I'm looking at, so I don't know, maybe to provide a more liquid look on the inside of the mouth of the figure. And pretty much that's it as far as details sculpting wise. All these, the venomous substance looking thing here and throughout his body is not sculpted, sadly, but you cannot really demand that of Hasbro or whoever the designer of this figure is. You cannot expect too much for a $20 figure, but overall for its price point, as you could see, the figure is very decent, or at least fair to its cost. And as far as sculpting regarding the musculature of the figure, they did put in some time for the sculpting. I'm not sure if this is a what you call that, reused body mold, but you would see as far as the musculature, the chest is well sculpted, the abdominals are complete and protruded. You would even see some obliques here on the side of, just below his chest on the side of the ab. I mean, oblique is over here. Serratus, I mean, I'm sorry. So musculature wise, they didn't lack on, the sculpting, except for, the venomous substance throughout his body. His head could move up this much. Let's take this off so we could get a more decent or a better look at the angles, because this thing is like distracting. It's hard to really see the angle of how the head looks up. So he looks up this much, he does look down that much. The head looks side to side. Let's see if he has tilting. He has slight tilting on the head, which is neat, that it's there. The shoulders move all the way up this much. It could move forward and it could move back. You could hear some clicking as you move the shoulders. It's one of those what you call that, geared or ratcheted joints. And for me, I mean, posing wise, I kind of appreciate that it's there just to prevent the figure from, or the articulation, or the joint from being loose. And of course, abdominal crunch, it does move forward this much, and it does move back that much. The hip, if you look at the hip, it's a bit loose, but only to a certain angle, and after that you could see some some opposing force there, so it does prevent the figure from falling all the way forward. So that's good that at least they I mean, it's there, but I would rather prefer for it to be tied consistently as far as the hip joints here. On the waist, he does have this side to side swivel, and going back to the hip, his legs move forward that much. It moves back this much, once again being hindered by this gluteal sculpting here. And the legs could move outwards or sideways like a splitting motion. And the good thing about this is it came with like a ball joint as far as the hip, so you could even move the legs forward and side at the same time. So that's good. That's one of the good things about a ball jointed hip. And of course, he has this upper thigh swivel, double jointed knee. Did I show you? Okay, double jointed knee, and of course upper shin swivel. And at the ankles, you would see some side to side tilting. And of course, you could point the toes up, and you could point the toes down as well. So pretty much that's it for the articulation. Overall, for a $20 figure, I would definitely grab this guy, simply for the purpose of the completion of your Spider-Man display or collection. He's one of the most well-known villains in the world of Spider-Man. So he is, of course, for collection-wise, he's one of the most important characters if you are into Spider-Man. And I think my memory may be a bit off here, but I think I saw a poster or maybe a comic book page, but I have not read that yet. But somewhere, some time ago, I've seen this guy like ripping off the venom from Venom's face. Like he was like simply beating Venom up. I'm not sure if he is actually that strong. I'm not sure if that was an actual story or maybe just a poster. So feel free to fill me in if you guys have any idea about what I'm talking about here. And let's go to the size comparison. So compared to a classic Toy Biz Wolverine from that Astonishing X-Men, he is taller, about half a head, and compared to a newer figure, one of the bulky figures, or a mediocre bulky figure, is Sentry. And of course, compared to the build-up figure that this guy came with. And that's it. Hope you enjoyed the review, guys. In a way, I do hope this is a helpful review for you. If not, at least, a bit entertaining. I do hope to see you soon once again. This is Flip Young checking out, and may you all have an awesome day. Goodbye.